Hey everybody, it is Mattie here with Altcoin Buzz with you on this hump day. Hope you're having a good one. We're looking at two articles today, including news about XRP, which now allegedly can be sent using Siri. We'll take a look at that article by Romel, but let's begin here with another article by Alicia. Looking for FUD, a Harvard Economist is ready to share some. So trigger warning, we do have some negative views ahead, but we're going to make sure that they're offset by some more positive ones by the end of our discussion. So the British newspaper The Guardian has published an opinion piece by Kenneth Rogoff, professor of economics and public policy at Harvard University. The good news is that he does not necessarily think that Bitcoin will be worth $0. However, the bad news is that he is critical of just about everything else in crypto. So he began his piece, which you can find on the Guardian website, by stating that despite the price drop, quote, don't expect to see true believers lining up to have their cryptocurrency tattoos removed just yet. Let's do a quick aside. Here is the article. You could find it on the Guardian. Cryptocurrencies are like lottery tickets that might pay off in the future. And before we get too serious, here is a pretty good article about some of the 9 best or maybe most cringeworthy tattoos in the world of cryptocurrency. You can browse through these. I especially like the Dogecoin tattoos. Those take extra chutzpah to mark on your body permanently. But getting back to the topic at hand. So Rogoff notes that he attended a recent conference which showed him that for many crypto enthusiasts, the current bear market is nothing special. They still recall when Bitcoin was trading at $13, and that was as recently as 2012. However, Alicia warns us we're now about to enter the FUD zone. So Rogoff notes that multiple actors are realizing that they cannot simply watch, quote, large, expensive to trace transaction technologies that facilitate tax evasion and criminal activity go by. The regulators will eventually kick in while banks will be turning to digital currencies of their own. So it's almost like an argument suggesting that because there is value in crypto, that's why it's going to be quashed. It's almost saying the opposite of what you'd expect intuitively going by the headlines. Citing his book, The Curse of Crash, Rogoff points out that, quote, just because the long-term value of Bitcoin is more likely to be $100 than $100,000 does not necessarily mean that it definitely should be worth $0. Thus, he indirectly criticized Nouriel Roubini, who is, mildly put, not a crypto fan and believes that everyone has been taken on a pump and dump ride. As we often discuss, adoption is the key. So in order for cryptocurrency to become adopted, its liquidity has to rise. People will need to be able to use it on a daily basis, like buying and selling goods. Quote, and if governments ever make it illegal to use coins in retail stores and banks, their value must ultimately collapse. Yes, to a certain extent, but can you really control a decentralized system that has collective agreement built into it? Because there's already been steps and measures that have outlawed it in certain countries, in certain areas. That hasn't exactly stomped it out. So I think there's a little bit of pushback that we can give to that particular argument. So there are more arguments that can be made here, more FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt from Mr. Rogoff. Let's get Alicia's closing thoughts. His views are not exactly what you would call enthusiastic, neither are they overly systematic. He brings up multiple facets of crypto and factors that may affect its price, which can be theorized through various lenses, but does not really elaborate on any of them. However, he does conclude the article by saying, quote, the price of these coins is not necessarily $0. They are probably worthless, he believes, like any other lottery tickets. But at the same time, he vaguely hints that we may not know yet why these coins will be valuable one day. And I think that's a great point. You know, blockchain technology has manifested itself into cryptocurrency, but this is the sort of thing that's going to evolve organically based on its application, based on its functionality. I was listening recently to a Joe Rogan podcast where the guest likened the development of cryptocurrency to the nature of the internet. You know, the fact that the internet was originally devised as a nuclear alert warning system doesn't really have any bearing on what it's used for today. Some things just emerge and evolve in a different way depending on organic functionality and use cases that people attribute to it. So if by any chance you feel that there was too much FUD in Mr. Rogoff's arguments, then make sure to check out The Alternative Antidote from Altcoin Buzz, which is here by Garrett, written about a week ago, analyzing the FUD, why there is no death spiral coming for Bitcoin anytime soon. You can also check out this page here if you want to pursue Mr. Rogoff's book, The Curse of Cash. We'll link to that in the description below. Alicia also made mention of Steve Wozniak, Apple's co-founder, who hopes that Bitcoin will become a single global currency. So he's basically at the polar opposite end of Mr. Rogoff in terms of his thoughts and hopes for the technology. Let us know what you think in the comments below. In other news, you can now send XRP with Siri. First, this developer made sending XRP with Amazon's Alexa possible. Now he made it possible with Siri. So many people hate XRP, article here, by the way, by Romel, maybe because of its decentralized features or because of its deals with banks. But at the end of the day, XRP has some of the biggest partnerships, and it's a top 3 currency based on market cap value. Before you were able to send XRP with Siri, you could do it with Amazon's Alexa. Thanks to Wind, the same independent developer that made the Alexa send function, you can now send XRP on Apple's Siri as well. So there's a new voice command that's integrated into the XRP tip bot feature created by Wind. In order to send XRP, you must have the address integrated to the contacts you added onto the app and phone. So you can take a look here how it works. This is how you send XRP via Siri voice commands. Number 1, you download the XRT tip bot. Number 2, you must have an address attached to your contact usernames. Scan a QR code or use your contact list. Click on their name and a voice command is initiated by you. Number 3, Siri will then ask you how much you would like to send. Voice commands can be used here as well. Personally, I would prefer to do all my sending of cryptocurrency manually and painstakingly. Make sure I have everything, written out meticulously well. I wouldn't trust anything that's in a testing phase. Not that this isn't a testing phase, that's not what I'm saying. But I wouldn't be the first one to line up in terms of new sending procedures, just because, we covered some of the horror stories the other day, for example. However, if you want to check out a video that explains how it's done, you can do so on the Daily Hodl, which covered this issue. So on that website, which we're going to link to below, the ripple effect, developers bring XRP to Amazon Alexa. And at the time of this video, XRP is sitting at about 30 cents, which, as I mentioned the other day, has retraced to pretty reasonable levels, in my opinion, versus those other projects sort of surrounding it. I think the retracement speaks to a pretty bright future, but then again, that's just my opinion. Let me know if you have another one. With that, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, do be sure you're following Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. Check out our last video here. Smash the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Best of luck if you choose to invest, and we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Have a wonderful hump day.